Hey, what's going on, everybody? In this video, we're going to give you 5 picks for NBA Prize Picks today on March 9th. It's a Thursday. We got a good amount of games to get into today as well. So let's start here at the top. This game, Houston, Indiana, expected to be a high-scoring game with not a lot of defense. So let's take a look at a few players in this game. Jalen Green's point props all the way up to 23.5. Tyrese Halliburton is at 22.5. Seems pretty low for Halliburton, high for Green. So we're going to go ahead and take the over on Halliburton. Looking at his last 3 games against tougher opponents, 40, 29, 32. So he's been just going off recently. And, he's basically just got the green light to do whatever he wants there in Indiana. Doesn't look like they're going to make the play-in game, but I think they're still going for it. A win here would definitely help them out. So I think they're going to be going all out in this one. Halliburton on the over. Jalen Green is set for 23.5, and I don't believe they have Porter Jr. out yet, which is weird. But Sengun here at 15.5. I actually like his rebounds better. Indiana gives up a bunch of rebounds. They were one of the last in the league in giving up rebounds to opponents. Sengun set at 9.5, got 12, 14, 10 in his last 3 games. And this is just a great spot to get a bunch of rebounds. So I like Sengun on the over in this same game. Sticking with this game, Jabari Smith, a lot of high points props on this team, including Jabari Smith at 13.5. On the season, he's averaging closer to 10. This is a good matchup, but you can see even in his last 5 games, he's only gotten there 1 time. So this just seems like a tough spot for Jabari Smith and a pretty high points prop when he doesn't get that many shots per game. So I like Smith actually on the under in this game. Some of these points props just get too inflated. And for these next picks, we're going to use StatMuse, which is a pretty cool app here where you can just type in at the top Tyus Jones without Ja Morant. So he's averaged 13 points in his career, nearly 7 assists in 49 games without Ja Morant in his career. This dates back all the way to 2019, so some of this data is pretty old, but looking at the more recent games, you could see 16 points, 25 points, 9, 12. And then 4 straight games here of 21 or more, dating back to this season in December. So he definitely scores a lot more without Morant in the lineup. And especially this year, his average is going to be closer to 20. So 15.5 is his points prop if we come over here, which seems pretty good. And I think I'm going to go with the points. You could also look at rebounds, which is at 8. You can see on StatMuse, it's in his career 6.8, so nearly 7, but definitely this season would be more. But I like the points better. I think that's a safer one here than 8. Another guy to look at is Jaren Jackson. So 20.5 points, you might think that is a pretty good prop to take since he's hit that in his last 2 games. But coming over here, you can see he's averaged 19.9 points without Ja Morant in his career, dating back to 2019 again. And before those last 2 games, he got 18, 19, 16, 19, 15, 10, 28. We got to go back, I don't know, that was 7 or 8 games to get to a game without Ja where he scored more than 21 points. And then to find another game where he scored more than 21, you got to go back to February of 2022 without Ja. And that's a bunch of games back as well. So while it seems like it from his last 2 games that he scores a lot more with Ja, that's not actually really the case, as we can see in all these games highlighted. He only did it 1 time, and that was in this game. So you could be getting a little recency bias there, and I'm actually not going to be going with Jaren Jackson on the over. If anything, I would take his under, but I actually like Dillon Brooks better. Dillon Brooks without Ja Morant in 43 games, again dating back to 2019, averaging nearly 18 points per game. And on Prizepicks, his props only at 13.5, so taking the over. You can see in his last 2 games, again, recency bias, only 13 points. Before that, he would need 14 and hit that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games without Ja in the lineup. And then the time after that was actually last season. But again, going back to last season, besides that game, hit it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. So Dillon Brooks averaging nearly 18 points without Ja. I think this is a good over to take as well. So this is going to be my 5. A little recap here. Dillon Brooks over on points. Tyus Jones over on points. Jabari Smith Jr. under. Sengun over on 9.5 rebounds. And then Halliburton over on 22.5 points. So these are my 5 picks for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you in the next one.